is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Toast. My name is Lex, and I'm here with my co-host Simon. Simon, what's up?
Hey.
If you were a part of the live show, you would have known that we've been live already. We were talking about toys with Simon and me. I was there too.
Yeah, he was there. Okay.
So that's not what we're doing right now, though. This part of the podcast, we're talking about Daredevil. The new season, the new series, the new direction of the show just came out. I feel like we've been waiting on this for a hot minute. It was like a weird limbo thing too, right? They were like, we don't know if they're going to bring over the Netflix shows because those are technically still the MCU, but they were like weirdly not the. I know they were part of the MCU in this ambiguous way,
right?
As in, you didn't see any other characters from the MCU in it. But they would like make references and nods to things that happened in the one Avengers movie.
Yeah, they would say the event, right? It was like the event.
Yeah, so weird. They had multiple. They had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like that too, where they were like, it's in the same universe up until season 6, and then it's like, that's stupid. Just end the show. It was not that good.
Don't make me think.
Yeah, and so it was this weird thing of like, are we ever going to get Daredevil in the big like MCU outside of Netflix? And there was rumored that they were going to bring in Charlie Cox, and then he showed up in Spider-Man No Way Home, and it was probably one of my favorite parts of that movie is when he showed up. I was like, hell yeah, that was I'm the only guy in the theater that stood up and clapped, and everyone was like, what?
And he caught that brick. You're like, woo!
You're that really guy. Into lawyers. Yeah, that was me. Then I got kicked out of the theater, and I've been banned ever since. But then he also showed up in She-Hulk, and people weren't really thrilled about that one, even though I loved that suit, man.
Yeah, and he got smashed.
Yeah. People didn't like that version because he was kind of not Netflix depressed as he was. That Netflix show was kind of sad. He was always depressed in that.
I will say that it was a little weird. Like even, and we'll get to it, but even going from like happy-go-lucky getting smashed, getting his pelvis destroyed.
Back to this.
It's like, huh? Yeah. Okay.
They didn't reference it at all. Ugh, how dare they? She should have been in it. She should be in everything. I love Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, me too.
I think she's great. I'll never forgive the internet for saying how bad that show was. I thought that show was fine.
I thought it was better than fine. It was one of my favorites because it wasn't the same old schlock. But we're not here to review.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about She-Hulk.
Actually, let's talk about She-Hulk again.
That's a different show. And so I was excited when they said that Charlie Cox was actually going to get his own series. Very cool stuff. Daredevil Born Again. They said that they were going to do it in the same style as sort of what they've already had. Which anytime I feel like they do that in the MCU, it's like, okay. But still going to have sort of that MCU filter on it, right? And this definitely does have that. But they were like, yeah, we're going to do Daredevil again. I guess because they got so much flack from trying new things from the grifters online that they're like, don't worry, we got something for you guys. We're going to bring the dark and the gritty. We're going to bring Daredevil. It's going to have like 28 episodes. Because they announced like 20 something episodes for the first season originally, and they definitely realized that that's not realistic because you have to pay people to work on these.
I mean, not in this economy.
Yeah, and so it's just been a long time coming. I'm very excited to. Simon and I are both huge Daredevil fans, so this was one of the ones that I wanted to watch when it first came out. We talked about it in numerous episodes where we're kind of past that phase of our life where we stay up and watch things at midnight. I'm past it.
Yeah. I did it. I did do that, but I fell asleep.
right? I got through them, but as soon as the episode ended, I was done. I was out, and I regretted the next day, just like a 60-year-old man. But I'm past that point in my life. Invincible is one of my favorite properties of all time, and I haven't caught any of them. I mean, I watched the first like 2 episodes, but it's also, I've read the story, so it's not like anything is going to really surprise me with it.
Yeah, I would say in a lot of ways, what usually happens with those is that you get a you're like, how are they going to change the story? Because they're going to do something, and
Yeah,
so that's probably where a lot of that disappointment comes in with a lot of
yeah,
people. But also, just as an argument for the excess, um,
mhm,
I know we don't get as many Marvel shows or Star Wars or any of that, but like there's just too much shit to watch.
yeah,
And there's so much shit to watch that I end up just watching The Office again. Yeah.
yeah.
Or Broad City or something that I know I'll like because I don't have I've been listening to the same music for the last month because I don't have the attention span to take a chance on something new. Uh because there's just too much of stuff out
I
there right
agree.
now.
I couldn't agree more. I have a rotation, and this is my sort of version of that. I have a rotation of 3 shows that so they don't become like I don't ever want these 3 shows specifically. I don't ever want to watch so much that I hate. You watch something so much you're like I never want to watch that again, or you eat food too much. You're like I hate that.
Never happened to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's a white people thing. I think they can do that forever. So I do New Girl, Parks and Rec, and The Office, and I'll like watch all of New Girl, and then I'll start Parks and Rec from the beginning, and that's kind of like, and it's not like I'm sitting down staring at it and I've seen all of them so many times that I'm passively watching them, right?
Mhm.
And I'll be working on something or drawing or trying to read something, and it'll just kind of be on in the background.
Just imagine when you say trying to read, I imagine like you're
Yeah,
sounding it out.
no, it's like a
The
big board with the
the car is red.
oh, so it's more of like my background comfort noise. Um, but I am watching. My wife and I will sort of the show that we put on before we go to sleep is What We Do in the Shadows. So that's like a new show that we
Fantastic,
haven't
yeah.
watched. And anytime I part of the humor and part of the enjoyment for me is getting her to actually watch something that's stupid, like stupid funny.
Yeah.
And she loves it. So part of it for me is just like, yes, now I can watch something. And not that she, doesn't let me enjoy things. It's more of just like watching her let loose and watch something stupid. It's fucking hilarious.
Rather than her, like, staring at her phone the whole
Yeah,
time you're
well, no,
watching the
she
show.
she no, she watches like the shit out of documentaries, and I like a good documentary, but sometimes I'm like, dog,
What why do
I'm
I
going,
gotta learn about whale sperm today?
I'm going to going to sleep. I know enough about World War II. That
No,
doesn't mean
you could
listen.
never
That doesn't
know enough.
mean that doesn't mean I know everything or I'm an expert. I think the better phrase is I know all I want to know about World War II.
So, just on a tangent here, Nicole's been watching a thing. She was watching a thing about like the Third Reich, and
Yeah,
and she's like, we just didn't. She went to private Christian school. She's like, yeah, we just didn't really spend that much time on this. I'm like, oh, fucking, I wonder why. I was like,
yeah,
we watched the
that's
hell out of like
that's really funny.
my parents watched the hell out of documentaries. My dad did, and so
My grandpa did, yeah,
I'm well versed in like everything you could imagine World War II,
yeah,
or anything that was on like Discovery or the Learning Channel before it was like fat people reality TV shows
and shark everything.
with like sex trafficking called uh, 90 Day Fiance. But
Yeah,
anyway, so yeah, it's just funny to me that she's like learning all this stuff fresh. I'm like, now's not the time to be watching this
yeah.
because
That's
I
played the
mean,
game.
it's just gonna make you like really paranoid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my wife didn't go to a Christian college, but I don't, or not high school and school in general. But
She
there's
didn't
just
go to
like
school.
she's been reading
She
these
didn't go to school in
books.
general.
She'll read these like historical fiction books, and then she just dives
But
deep
like,
into it, and then we're
uh,
reading all this stuff, and I'm like, I just don't want to.
like the Man from Hightower or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that some sort of?
It's a police academy book.
I was gonna say I read comic books, so that's
It
my
was a
thing.
TV series. It had
Oh
Barbie.
yeah, yeah.
Did you get that
Stephen
Hightower
King?
joke?
No.
He was police academy. He was the tall black dude.
Uh, I got it now. Oh my god.
Proud of that one.
We Yeah, at this point you probably can't remember what we're talking about on this week's
I don't.
episode.
I don't remember.
We were talking about Daredevil Born Again. We were excited about it. We talk about my social media a lot on here just because it's usually relevant around the time that we record episodes. And I thought I came up with the funniest post today. And some people got it, some people didn't. But I said, well, first of all, I did my ass thing where I say it's ass no matter what it is, no matter what my opinion is, and then I say my real opinion underneath.
You're like,
That
I
just
mean,
pisses people off, man.
yeah, pisses me off, but it is funny.
It pisses everyone off, and it is so funny. And I'll never stop doing it.
Just so y'all know.
But then I was like, and I just thought it was gold, and and even though it did good, it still did not get all the accolades that it deserved.
Superman.
I said,
good. It did well.
No, it should have did good, man. It should have healed people's problems, brightened their day, and fixed the world. I said, I'm really excited. I'm really still just so excited that they brought back the Netflix Daredevil because they brought Netflix Daredevil to the MCU because I love Cox. That was it. That was it. And I was like an idiot at work, just making myself laugh.
Yeah, that's really good. Man. I love it.
Oh my god! So that should be that should be the title of this episode. We love Cox. Excited for Daredevil to be back.
We love Cox. Yeah.
First of all, Sam only watched the first episode because he's an old man and fell asleep. And what'd you think, man? Let's just get into it. Spoilers ahead of time, at least for the first episode. We won't go into too much of the second episode.
I don't even remember what happened. What happened?
It starts out. I'll just tell you.
Tell me again.
Opening shot.
So do you want me? Do you want my like full opinion, or do you want to take this in steps?
No, lay it on me, man.
So, I like this Daredevil. Yeah, I like
Cox.
Yeah, I love Cox. He's great. Cox Charlie. Cox Karma Charlie. So I like the Netflix show a lot, at least the first 2 seasons. I don't remember before it got
Yeah. I didn't watch and this is maybe blasphemous for you hardcore comic book movie nerds, but I did not watch the 3rd season. Not out of lack of like interest, it's just
lack of interest.
I think life more important things happen, I think, in my life.
Yeah.
Didn't get to it.
I can't even remember what it was like, but so I like this Daredevil. I've never been fond of the costume though, and that continues. I loved the red and yellow that they had in She-Hulk. That was cool just because it's a callback.
Yeah.
But I just can't get behind it. To me, like I don't know. I feel like he could have like if they can do Spider-Man, they could do him with something that's not this weird. Have you ever? Sorry, I know I'm speaking in like half sentences, but have you ever worn like a like what do you call it? Like a
Like a motorcycle jacket.
no, like a utility suit, like a painting
Oh
suit or
yeah,
whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
called
for
something
sure.
else, but like a single piece of clothing, like a
Mhm.
romper with arms and legs.
Yeah,
um, it's very restrictive, and that's what he's wearing. Like that's not pants and a shirt. Like that is a romper.
yeah, it
And
is.
to me, it just doesn't read that he can move as fluidly as he can, which you can tell because they use very rubbery CGI to show him hopping around in some places.
Especially in this one, they didn't do it in the Netflix show, but he's moving around like Spider-Man in this one.
Yeah, and I don't mind, but
Yeah,
it's a little too rubbery looking. Like they're not.
yeah,
I can't do it. I'm not saying that I'm somebody that can go out there and do this CG, but I feel like they could have spent a little bit more time on making him feel like he has some weight to him and
yeah.
that he's it's like that thing where they show like the elbow and instead of like a hard right angle, it's like a bend.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? It's like uncanny valley shit.
yeah. I didn't think it looked bad again in She-Hulk, but when he was
No.
hopping around,
No, I
uh,
thought it was great in that. There was
yeah,
obviously
and
a higher budget for that.
in this, I agree. It did kind of look kind of cartoony.
But, I and that's to me, that's the complaint that I have. I know that it sounds like I'm nitpicking. I still liked it, but if I had to pick a thing to not like,
Mhm.
it's that if you want it to be comic booky, like we talked about with the new Captain America.
Mhm.
Like to me, that's the epitome of like if you're gonna make it comic booky MCU, like if you're gonna mash this together instead of trying to make it like this gritty real life thing,
Yeah,
surfing on missiles and shit. If you're gonna do that, that's fine, but like do that with the costume too.
yeah,
Don't try to keep the realistic costume, but then like he's buzzing around like a comic book character. Just go whole hog. Who cares?
yeah. Give him the spandex.
But
At the very least, throw some double D's on his chest, man.
to
that's,
give that cock some double D's. Um,
that's that's the perfect clip for this episode.
but I don't know. The fight was really interesting, and it's in it. I think that's the coolest thing about Daredevil is he's still a dude that could. I mean,
Yeah.
he's getting stabbed probably more than a regular dude could, but he's still
That's what I
just.
thought. I was just like, "Yo, man, at what point are you going to be like, hey, dude, that's enough?"
I mean, they are only going in like an inch or two. I'm not saying that wouldn't hurt,
Yeah,
but
and
it's
and
not
and he
like
also has the adrenaline and whatnot.
yeah. But I think that's the coolest Daredevil is the one where he's like going real hard in the paint.
Yeah, getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, and he
Like
gets his ass
winning
kicked.
fights by getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, just bludgeoning through them, tanking damage.
I
Um,
agree.
I don't know, but other than it, just and maybe there's a lot more episodes in this. I don't know how many episodes they're coming out with, and maybe they had to spread that budget out, and that's why it was a little lower quality. I don't know. That's my
Yeah.
major complaint, though, is the beginning was just rubbery. Also, it is, and I know I come down hard on movies and stuff just for taking me out because I'm tired of seeing the same shit.
Yeah.
I hate when people start fighting when they don't communicate. I
Yeah.
also don't like movies that don't feel like you're living in the moment. Like you didn't just drop in on a moment with Paige Foggy and Murdoch, like or Nelson and Murdoch. You didn't. This was like TV, boop, beep, new stage opens, play begins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's reminisce. This is the end joke about how things
Yeah.
are better than that. That's a iffy complaint because I know it's a TV show but I like things to feel like to me I again half sentences sorry I feel like the best kinds of movies and TV are things that you drop right in and they've just people are just living their lives they've been living it the whole time You don't have to catch up. We don't have to have some subtle in joke about how it's been however many years.
Yeah.
It's just here we go.
Yeah,
So,
I get that. In my head, I think okay. So I liked the first episode. I thought it was fine. Uh, I felt as if they were like, we got this old thing and we got this new thing. How do we transition from that? Obviously, we're going to try to emulate that as much as possible, but under, with this MCU Disney filter on it, how are we going to like make it fit into the main MCU, right? Or like what we got going on right now, crossing over into movies and all this stuff. So we got this old thing that we did one way, and then we got this new thing that we're doing. We're gonna maybe spend the whole season, 28 episodes. I know it's not 28 episodes now, but like trying to intricately put together all these plot lines and subtle nods to the old show with subtle nods to She-Hulk and subtle nods to what we have going on in the future of the MCU. Like, this is what we're going to try to do, right? This is the big plan. We got 28 episodes. We got a ton of time to just put in Easter eggs and all these things. And then studio heads came in and said, no, you got 8 episodes. And they said, okay, well, we have 8 episodes. So we literally can't do any transition stuff. So we're going to smash these two things together in this first episode.
Yeah.
Clip off what we call the Netflix Daredevil, clip that off. And then 1 year later, this is where we're going. This is the new Daredevil. This is a new thing. That is the old one.
Pinch that right off.
And it just felt like that to me. Like, I didn't watch season 3 of Daredevil, but I got the gist of it, just being online and then knowing the character, right? Like, I knew that was Bullseye. I know their history as just characters in general. I thought the fight scene was great. The big, seeing, the big twist at the opening of the episode, and I'm like, this kind of what you said about not feeling like it was in the moment. Really, whenever the big plot or big such what a twist moment happens, I'm like, this kind of feels like a distraction on like, hey, we're going to smash these two things together. Like, they're not going to notice that we're doing this like crash test transition because this character had this traumatic event, right? And so it just felt like, I don't know, we're going to get rid of these characters this way.
The funny thing about that too is that they were like doing all these interviews beforehand and like, oh yeah, it feels great to be back. It's like, oh, well, never mind.
And I wasn't a huge fan of how like Bullseye didn't talk. He says that one line to Karen, and like that's it. I just like my villains to be shit talkers, especially if they are like Bullseye is a shit talker. So I would have appreciated more dialogue, especially on the roof. I just didn't. I know that it was supposed to emulate that sort of that one fight. There's a fight in the comic books where they don't have any words or just going at it. And I know it was supposed to emulate that, but I just wanted a little bit more. I did, whenever he gets thrown off the building, spoiler alert, I was like, that shit's tight. But he also he can't just murder somebody, right? I mean, he has to go to jail.
It was a nice thump. It was kind of crazy. And then
I was like, that dude's dead, man.
I mean, maybe not. He'd be, I mean, a year later he might be all right. But he would. Yeah, he'd be.
He's definitely got to write down his phone number and keep it in his wallet. He hit the ground hard. He's not remembering his address or his social security number or his mother's birthday. He hit the ground hard, man. Like, could you like?
No.
When he opened his eyes on the ground, I was like, I know what he feels like. Not that I've ever experienced that, but like, it just looked like, what the fuck was that? Like,
Uh,
his whole body had to have just been like screaming, or maybe it hurt so bad that he just didn't feel anything. He was in shock.
yeah,
Just like,
I would imagine he'd be in pretty hardcore shock.
and I don't know. It just felt like people gave Captain America: Brave New World a lot of shit for these reshoots. This felt like it had a lot of reshoots and cuts.
Yeah,
It feels like the storyline between Karen Page and him becoming estranged. So they tease them finally, will they, won't they, being romantic partners, and then it's like they're estranged now because, hey, your friend's gone. You didn't talk to me for a few weeks, and then I didn't talk to you for a few weeks, so I moved to the other side of the fucking United States, and now we're never going to talk. That just seems strange to me, man.
yeah, I
And
agree.
it's kind of like your villains don't, or villain, or two heroes fighting because they don't talk it out. It just seems like, hey, maybe if you guys both just had a conversation, you would be like, yeah, we were going through a traumatic event at the same time. Maybe I didn't handle it the best. Maybe you didn't handle it the best, and we at least can be friends again. She's like,
What
nah.
what what better time would you have than then to smash?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Traumatic experience is a
Grief, love making.
great aphrodisiac.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's a very Matt Murdock thing too. That's sort of his thing, is like doing it and then crying afterwards.
I mean,
So
who
sad.
doesn't, right?
Yeah.
That's normal,
I
right?
call I call that the Matt Murdock special every time I do it. And
My
but
penis
it felt
cries too.
very sort of like a, like you said, I never thought about it like that. It felt like an opening act, or it felt like she was she gave him his devil horn back, and she's like, "Here, you need this." End scene, and then her character is gone. It's just like she walks off into the side behind the curtains, and that's it. Her part of the play is done. She's not
Yeah.
coming back. It just felt that way to me, and it didn't. Like, it's really hard to say it didn't feel real because these are superheroes, right? And the fictional world. And it's all that to say that I did enjoy this episode. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that I didn't enjoy it. I'm just saying that's how it felt to me. Uh, I'm always gonna love seeing Daredevil on screen. Shit, I love Ben Affleck's movie. And
Dude, that movie gets way too much hate, man. Honestly, I know it's got stupid parts, but
yeah,
the we could talk about it all day, and I know we always do. Whenever we start talking about it. The worst
yeah.
part of that movie is the fact that Colin Farrell doesn't have a costume, and
Yeah.
the just some of the really weird dialogue with Jennifer Garner. But otherwise, it is a
His suit
solid
doesn't make
movie.
the, my favorite thing about that is how his suit should be like oh, he's like running down the alleyway.
Yeah, what was it about the early 2000s and leather? They were like,
Leather, man.
make him a superhero, but also make him daddy.
Yeah. You talk about the utility suit of the tactile utility suit of this Daredevil. Like, that had to be terrible, equally terrible. Like an
Yeah,
all
yeah.
leather, all leather crime fighting suit. You can
Well,
imagine
you,
just taking that thing off, and it's just like,
yeah,
like
just sweating.
the smell lines are coming off of your body.
Like, how much powder does he have on his body?
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. It's like that. I don't even like Friends, but it's like that Friends episode where Ross is sweating. He's got leather pants on. Have you seen this one?
I've never watched Friends, so
It's terrible. But there's an episode where one of the characters has leather pants on and he's sweating real bad. So he goes to the bathroom to like let his boys cool off, and then he can't get them back on because they like shrink because they were so sweaty.
it's pretty good.
And so he starts like, but now we're just talking about Friends. It's a kind of, it's like probably the funniest thing in 8 years of that show.
We got to now I got to put in the background the Friends theme song. That's the only thing I know about Friends.
Was that the one that says everybody knows your name? That's Friends, right?
Yeah, and they did tie some things together. because I feel I started to think when I was watching this, like I don't like to do that, right? Especially when
Ouch.
I'm watching when I'm watching superhero stuff. But I was like, they really had Kingpin in a lot of random stuff in this past phase. Like he was in uh, Hawkeye
Yeah.
and like a
Cockeye.
big cartoon suit. And then he was in Echo, where he was like this weird foster parent for this character. And he got shot with arrows in Hawkeye and then straight to the chest, explosive arrows. And then he got shot in the face
Yeah.
in Echo. And I'm just like, what are they doing with this character?
He's just a
And
punching bag. But he's like,
yeah,
what I do like about the way they portray him is that he has existed. He's there.
yeah. He's almost like the series version of Thanos at this point, like very small scale, but he's connecting all of these
Mm,
little
yeah.
shows. They're big production shows, but I mean, like all these smaller series, because he does reference how he got shot in the face. He does reference. I don't think he referenced Hawkeye, but I think we did see some of the tracksuit mafia with his wife whenever they introduce her in the show.
They do say something about a tracksuit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool. It yeah, and I agree. It does. It feels like he is in it. It's not like he's just randomly becoming mayor. It feels like he is like the in this sort of cinematic universe as like a character more so than Daredevil, I guess.
Yeah. I'll say so. To me, one of the like weirdest parts of this is like how scary he is as a person. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like we've avoided that in our own politics when you look
yeah.
at like,
It was pretty heavy handed on some of that stuff too.
but just how frightening he is as a person. He can't even smile. He's like, I love this city. It's like,
Yeah, he's
geez,
really intense. He's
yeah,
really intense.
man,
I'd vote
dude,
for him.
yeah,
And
why not?
I liked it. Simon didn't watch the second episode. I think the second episode is better than the first one because it feels like the start of the show. Again,
Mm.
for me, it really feels like they were like, how do we crash these two things together, make everybody happy, and then start our own thing?
Maybe they should have done an opening crawl like Star Wars.
Yeah, they should have. Or they just should have just made the first two episodes just like a highlight reel of all the things that Netflix series.
Hmm.
I never watched Defenders. That's probably the missing. That's probably the missing piece right there.
No.
I'm hoping Iron Fist shows up in this show. That'd be cool.
Well, that guy, yeah, I definitely want to see him again.
All right, so before we do our closing remarks, I'm going to talk about some of the Easter eggs. That's one of my favorite things to do, and with these shows and movies is find not necessarily. I don't care about cameos from characters like White Tiger. Fine, I guess, but I like the subtle things that only the super nerd, not really super nerds, but that I can be like, hey, to my wife, and she's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Trying to read.
There's a few of them. And, some of them are from the Netflix show, like when Foggy said he worked at Hogarth, whatever. That was like the Hogarth lady that was in Hawkeye and Jessica
Mhm.
Jones, that hot
Yeah.
lady Trinity.
Yeah. Hot Lady Trinity. I remember her. Yep.
Yeah. And then there's also some stuff in the comic books, like his new partner, Kristen McDuffie. She was a love interest of Matt's for a little while, so that's cool. They pulled her from the comic series, as well as his love interest in this, where seemingly was going to be his love interest in this. I don't know if I'm spoiling stuff for Simon. And
Well, she's also a doula in Severance.
yeah,
So
there it is. So there's that. Another love interest. If it's a woman in the show, you could just assume that it's a love interest at some point for Matt Murdock. That guy's got a problem. As we mentioned, Simon did there was a reference to the Tracksuit Mafia. I don't even understand why that's a thing. I thought they were funny in what show was that?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Yeah, I thought they were cool in that. But then it's like a henchman kind of thing. That's one thing I think the MCU is lacking is henchmen.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a big comic book trope. And one of the things I love so much about Captain America, the first Avenger, is that they have those Hydra grunts that they have different kind of armors and things like that. They don't have a lot of those. You know, I know you people will say that Hawk or Thanos' family, but that to me that doesn't count. Those are I'm talking about like these guys, Bulk and
Yeah.
Skull,
Yeah.
idiots. It's like
I guess
punching bags.
instead of like, yeah, Batroc the Leaper just had like librarian
Yeah,
liberators or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Librarian
Librarian
Taylor.
Liberated. Or the Chitauri, they don't count either because they're just kind of they're I don't know one step up from army men.
Mhm.
I need some. I need some.
Well, they had the Outrider or
Hench,
whatever.
yeah, I need some henchmen with some oomph, with some pizzazz, a little bit of character. We learn that they do references getting shot in the face and how Vanessa took over the business and how she might be better at it than him for it, financially at least, and he's running for mayor. He doesn't say he makes it seem like he's really trying to be straight and narrow, but he also is like it's not even like a secret that he's like, no, we're still going to do business. I wish
Yeah.
that they would have teased him. I wish they would have tried to tease him a little bit more of like him actually trying to be a good guy,
Yeah.
and then
I'm a
have the
good guy.
reveal of like, oh, he was
I'm
actually terrible.
I'm a good guy.
And BB Urich is in it. Urich,
Oh,
right?
Eric? You're talking about the
Ben
new
Urich's, yeah, Ben Urich's something daughter, cousin.
Oh, BBL. I thought that meant something else.
Okay, I think it's her. I think it's his niece. Ben Urich was in the Netflix show. Um, we all know what happened to him.
What happened?
He got iced. He got
He's
iced.
cold?
Karen's in San Francisco. That happens in comic books.
Cool.
She's done and seen.
Yeah.
She's gonna get her spinoff show.
She's going to turn into a vampire. She's going to move to Louisiana, turn into a vampire.
I forgot, and this is not even an Easter egg. I just forgot that he crushed that dude's head in that car.
That's the one thing I remember because when you were telling me about it being brutal, more brutal, I was like, he
Yeah,
decapitated a guy with a suburban door.
I forgot he killed that dude. And then they started talking about it, and I was like, "There's no way that the general populace knows that he murdered somebody like that, and he still got elected." And then I was like, "Never mind,
Yeah, no, that's right on the money. I mean, that shit happened.
never mind. He's fine."
There's
And
no way. That's funny.
there's to me in this, there's not that many Easter eggs other than, and especially in this first episode, is with them trying to connect the things that Kingpin's been in. Essentially, it's like what's he been up to?
Where in
What's
the
been going on with him?
world is
There's supposed to
the
be a new bad
Kingpin?
guy for this Muse, and I think he was the character spray painting that mural of Fisk
Hmm.
at the end of the episode. Is that episode one?
Yeah.
After he wins,
It's one of my favorite
did
songs
he
too,
win in
the
episode one?
outro. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. He name dropped Spider Man. I thought if you want to count that as an Easter egg,
Yeah, but in the
I
same
really
way,
doubt that Sony's gonna let him be in the show.
yeah, in the same way that like in the Netflix series is like, or men dressing up like a spider-like character. Okay.
Yeah, they can't straight up say Spider Man.
Like a man spider.
You know, and I've always, for years, when I was a kid, because I didn't start reading Daredevil comic books until a little later. I always thought Kingpin was a Spider-Man bad guy because of the
Mhm.
show. He was always fucking around with Spider-Man in that show, and then I realized that he's. I mean, I would imagine he's still a Spider-Man bad guy, but more Daredevil.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. It would be cool to see him. White Tiger again.
So
You get more of
cocaine.
You get more of him in the second episode. You also get some possible future teases in the second episode. I won't spoil that for Simon, but most of the Easter eggs, I was kind of let down.
What was the significance of that kid that's like, oh, you're totally trending on the tweeters? That kid that's in his office, he had a name that was very recognizable to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I forgot to look it up.
I didn't catch his name. He is the guy from The Sopranos' son in real life.
James Gandolfini's son?
Yeah.
Not his son that was in the show that was also in the Daredevil movie?
No, I think it's his real son.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. And I also could be making this up.
Well,
I could be talking about what you're talking about and just completely.
Well, it's not that guy. Wrong. It's not that guy. But in the Ben Affleck Daredevil, the bully that beats up Matt Murdock when he's a kid is the son from Sopranos.
Damn. Learn something new.
What are you going to be blind? What are you going to just be blind over there? Mean kids.
Oh my gosh, kids suck, man. Kids suck. Don't ever have them. I like the first episode. I like the second episode more. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. Definitely felt like I don't know why they have to make him so Spider-Man. Like, I like that he's more acrobatic in this than he has been. But it did look very animated.
To me, I mean, that's his strength to me. I think the suit is what makes it look off. I think it looks just too padded for him to be, because you look at like Captain America's suit, the new one, I mean, like, it looks streamlined. Why couldn't it? Doesn't look as puffy, you know what I mean? So why couldn't they do something like that?
Yeah,
I
agree. Maybe we'll get a new one. Maybe we'll throw some double D's on that thing.
So show us some D's. Give us two of them.
I'm not really excited. I don't want to be Daredevil anymore. I quit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, every time I try to quit, they pull me back in. It's like, we get it, man. You don't want to be, but you are Daredevil. So just like, let's just cut that shit out and figure it. Like, you spend so much time trying to, I don't know, man. It's fine. I get that it's part of his character, but we got to do it every time, every season. He's got to quit and be pulled back in.
Yeah. There's something, there's something about like that trope too, because I at that point it's like, where like you're trying to stand on the moral high ground of like a line was crossed or whatever, but it's like you crossed the line when you became a vigilante like that.
Yeah,
that's over. So just do whatever you're gonna do now. Just throw people off buildings. Who gives a shit?
And like, where the line is just killing, because he beats the crap out of people, man.
Well, I mean, it's Batman. It's just Devil Batman.
Like when he was talking to Fisk and he was like,
when Cox was speaking to Fisk,
Fisk was saying, I've tried to kill you before, or no, Daredevil was like, you tried to kill me before, so maybe I'm, reluctant on your change of heart, right? And Fisk is like, as have you. And he's like, no, I never tried to kill you. And I'm like, dude, you beat the fucking shit out of that dude, man. Like, you got lucky he wasn't dead. That scene where he's in the chair and he's like beating the crap out of him over and over and screaming in his face. I'm like, that could have went either way, buddy. I don't know what you think was going on there. I know he's got a fat, like thick, meaty head, but that could have went either way.
It's got that thick, meaty claws. Sorry, that's what I think.
He could have easily been drinking out of a straw for the rest of his life. Drinking all of his food out of a straw for the rest of his life.
Why not, man? Do it.
So where's the line? You know what I mean? Is it throwing someone off a building? That's a weird line to have.
Yeah.
and then he didn't even kill him. So you're by your own rules, you're still good.
Yeah. True.
Come on, Matt. You're smarter than that. I didn't mean to rhyme this just then. We liked it. I'm excited to hopefully better. I'm excited to see Daredevil on the screen again, man. To see those double D's in my face.
Just right. Just filling my eyes. Just getting your face right in there.
Oh my gosh. I don't think we'll do a review every episode. I just wanted to talk because it just came out and we are huge fans of Daredevil. So maybe we'll do a recap episode after the series wraps or the first season wraps. Hopefully it's just the first season and let you know what we think, what we thunk, what we thought.
Yeah. Past tense.
I got a fun episode planned next week. I'm not going to tell you about it. You got to come to the live stream to check it out. And I could be lying. I could not be lying. So
yeah, we may not even be here. You'll show up. We're not here.
Yeah, that's true. I might move to Australia or something. Planning my exit.
Down under.
I appreciate everyone popping in, checking out the stream, and subscribe to the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.
A shro is like a mix between a show and a fro.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore, but
I don't either.
See you guys next week.
Bye.